Hey everyone, this is Michael again, and welcome to the AEW Dynamite review. Dynamite tonight was from the MGM Grand Garden Arena in Las Vegas, Nevada. And Double or Nothing is this Sunday, which is shaped up to be a very good show with a stacked card. And tonight was the go-home show for Double or Nothing. And Dynamite tonight, I gotta say, the show was very lackluster, in my opinion. I thought this was a very lackluster show. The first hour was just very uneventful, aside from the opening match, which was Orange Cassidy versus Kyle Fletcher for the International Championship. But overall, just a very lackluster show it was. But we also saw the House of Black. They had another open house challenge for the World Trios Championship, where they ended up taking on Blake Christian, Metalik, and AR Fox. We had Taya Valkyrie versus Lady Frost. Roderick Strong was in action. He ended up taking on Daniel Garcia. And in the main event, we had the Ring of Honor World Tag Team Championship on the line. The Lucha brothers, Penta and Phoenix, defend the titles against Claudio, Castagnoli, and Yuta. And we also had the contract signing between Adam Cole and Chris Jericho for the unsanctioned match at Double or Nothing this Sunday. And we also had a debut tonight, which I really do hope is a one-off, and I'll get to explain that when I talk about the contract signing between Jericho and Adam Cole. But overall, Dynamite tonight, just a very lackluster go-home show going into Double or Nothing this Sunday. I will not be reviewing the show on Sunday, so there will be no review of Double or Nothing. But anyways, let's jump right into the review. Dynamite opened up tonight with the first match of the night, which was the International Championship on the line. Orange Cassidy defended the title against Kyle Fletcher of Aussie Open. And once again, Orange Cassidy opening Dynamite. I don't know about you guys, but are you guys getting sick and tired of Orange Cassidy always opening Dynamite every single week? I'm starting to get, pretty tired of Tony Khan putting Orange Cassidy first and opening the show every single week. I like Orange Cassidy, but still, him opening the show every single week, it's getting tiring. Do something different other than us seeing Orange Cassidy open the show every single week. But this was a very good match with Cassidy and Fletcher here. Match started off with Fletcher charging toward Orange Cassidy, and Fletcher ended up rushing Orange Cassidy. He ended up dropping Orange Cassidy hard, and he ended up going for the cover, to which Cassidy ended up kicking out. So Fletcher ended up catching Orange Cassidy, delivered a drop kick, which sent Orange Cassidy off the apron, and he ended up diving on Orange Cassidy, just taking him down. So Kyle Fletcher brought Orange Cassidy back to the ring, and he ended up going for the cover, to which Cassidy ended up kicking out. So Fletcher was getting very frustrated on trying to get Orange Cassidy down and get the win. So Orange Cassidy ended up rolling out of the ring, and the ref was starting to count. Fletcher climbed the turnbuckle, and he was taunting the fans, and Orange Cassidy ended up sending Kyle Fletcher flying off the top down to the floor. Kyle Fletcher got back up to his feet, and Orange Cassidy delivered a DDT to Kyle Fletcher on the floor. So ref started to count. Orange Cassidy went back to the ring, and Orange Cassidy ended up going back to the outside, and he delivered a beach break to Kyle Fletcher on the floor. Orange Cassidy went back to the ring, and the ref was counting Kyle Fletcher, who was on the outside still. So as soon as the ref got to 9, Fletcher made his way back to the ring. So Orange Cassidy ended up putting his hands in his pockets, like always, typical Orange Cassidy. So he ended up hitting some offense on Fletcher. Fletcher ended up catching Orange Cassidy with a kick to his face. So Fletcher ended up going for the cover. Orange Cassidy kicked out. Fletcher then started throwing punches to Orange Cassidy's head. He was wearing Orange Cassidy down, and he ended up bringing Orange Cassidy back to his feet, and he delivered a delayed vertical suplex to Orange Cassidy. So Fletcher ended up going for the cover. Orange Cassidy kicked out. So then Dynamite went to commercial. Of course, the picture-in-picture was shown. So then, as Dynamite came back from the commercial, Fletcher was in control of the match. Fletcher ended up hoisting Orange Cassidy up. Cassidy ended up catching Fletcher, and he delivered a Stun Dog Millionaire to Fletcher. And then Orange Cassidy followed the Stun Dog Millionaire with a DDT to Fletcher. So Orange Cassidy ended up going for the cover. Fletcher kicked out. Orange Cassidy then ended up stopping Fletcher with a couple of kicks to his back. So Fletcher ended up coming back. He ended up delivering a kick to Orange Cassidy, which dropped Orange Cassidy off the apron. So Orange Cassidy was still on the apron. Fletcher ended up bringing Cassidy up onto the top turnbuckle. Cassidy ended up stopping a superplex attempt from Fletcher. So Fletcher ended up catching Orange Cassidy in midair, and he ended up dropping Orange Cassidy with a spinning Michinoku driver. So Fletcher ended up going for the cover, and Orange Cassidy ended up kicking out. So Orange Cassidy was looking to go for the beach break. The beach break got reversed by Fletcher. So we had Fletcher end up delivering an elbow strike to Orange Cassidy. So we end up seeing Fletcher end up hitting a big kick to Orange Cassidy's face. But Orange Cassidy turned around and delivered a brainbuster to Fletcher. So we had Orange Cassidy doing his offense shtick, with the little kicks, the to Fletcher. So we had Fletcher end up kicking out because Orange Cassidy ended up going for a roll-up. So we had Fletcher end up hitting 2 tombstone pile drivers on Orange Cassidy. So Fletcher ended up going for the cover. Orange Cassidy kicked out. So Fletcher was looking to hit another tombstone to Orange Cassidy from the second rope, but Orange Cassidy ended up fighting out of that. So we had Fletcher end up doing a power slam to Orange Cassidy. Fletcher went for the cover. Orange Cassidy kicked out. So Orange Cassidy used the ropes to get himself back up to his feet. Fletcher then delivered a kick to Cassidy. And then Orange Cassidy ended up coming back, and he delivered a DDT to Fletcher. So Cassidy was looking to go for the orange punch, but Fletcher ended up delivering a thrust kick to Orange Cassidy's face. So Orange Cassidy ended up countering out of another tombstone pile driver by Fletcher. So we had Orange Cassidy end up clutching Fletcher's legs and ended up crossing them for the pin. And there you go. Orange Cassidy ended up winning the match, retaining the International Championship. Overall, this was a very good match, very physical match between Orange Cassidy and Fletcher here. Good wrestling from both of these guys. Just back and forth. Liked seeing Fletcher hit the tombstone pile driver to Orange Cassidy. And also, Cassidy trying to go for the beach break and, got reversed by Fletcher. But very good match it was. And then we went backstage, and we saw Ricky Starks. Starks was addressing his loss last week in his match against Jay White, which was a disqualification. So Starks ended up saying that he is a hothead, and people think he acted out of emotion last week. But he acted in control. Starks ended up saying that he's sick and tired of hearing about it, as he has nothing to lose. So then Juice Robinson ended up coming up. He ended up attacking Ricky Starks, started beating him down. Jay White ended up jumping Ricky Starks from behind, and both Juice Robinson and Jay White beat it down on Starks. They ended up hitting a chair shot to Starks' back. And they started taunting Starks, and pretty much that was basically that. And then as Dynamite came back from commercial, we saw Jungle Boy. Jungle Boy was backstage. He was saying that he drove to Los Angeles a lot, and each time he's a little bit different. He ended up saying one thing is always the same, which is the feeling of standing inside the ring, as that has given him a purpose. He ended up saying that it lets him be the man he wants to be. And on Monday, he will drive that road as the AEW World Champion. So pretty much, Jungle Boy was just, addressing, that drive that he had to make to and from Double or Nothing over the past years. But Jungle Boy, he's not winning the World Championship this Sunday. So MJF is going to hold that World Championship for a while. They're not taking that title off of MJF that quickly. And then we had FTR, Dax Harwood, Cash Wheeler. They end up coming out, the World Tag Team Champions. So we had Cash Wheeler end up getting on the mic. He was running down Jeff Jarrett, and he was saying, Jeff Jarrett is trash, and that he's outsmarted them every step of the way. He ended up saying, however, he's been lucky, and on Sunday, that runs out. So Dax Harwood got on the mic. Harwood ended up saying that a few guitars won't stop them, and to stay relevant, he attaches his name to the best team in the world today. Harwood ended up saying that if Jeff Jarrett thinks the head of the tag team division will be rejects from TNA. Yeah, he mentioned TNA here. He ended up saying that it's not going to happen. He ended up saying he thinks they should call Dixie Carter and make sure they have job security. Wow, mention TNA on AEW. Yeah, because of course Jeff Jarrett was a part of TNA back in the day. So then we saw Mark Briscoe. Mark Briscoe ended up coming out, and there was a bit of exchange between Briscoe and FTR. It led to Dax Harwood demanding Mark Briscoe shake his hand like a man. So Briscoe ended up slapping away Harwood's hand, but he was like, let's do this. We're on TV. I have a lot of respect for your family. So Harwood ended up extending his hand out again. So Briscoe didn't even shake Harwood's hand. Briscoe slapped Dax Harwood in the face. And then we saw Jeff Jarrett and his posse end up coming out. Jay Lethal, Sonjay Dutt, Satnam Singh, and Jeff Jarrett's wife, Karen. So Mark Briscoe wasn't having any of this. Mark Briscoe ended up shoving Jeff Jarrett's wife, Karen, out of the way. Briscoe ended up going up to Jeff Jarrett and slapped him. That slap was so hard from Mark Briscoe to Jeff Jarrett. So then he went up to Jay Lethal. So Briscoe ended up telling Jay Lethal, "You're my boy, but I'm tired of this BS, of this bullshit. And then Briscoe ended up walking off, and pretty much that was basically that. But Briscoe, as the special guest referee for FTR and Jay Lethal and Jeff Jarrett at Double or Nothing on Sunday, pretty good there. The match hopefully, will be good, for the World Tag Team Championship. Overall, it was a decent, segment here. Wasn't perfect or great by any means. And then we saw Renee Paquette. Renee Paquette was backstage with Sammy Guevara. Guevara was relying on a message from MJF that the check for laying down for him at Double or Nothing is still on the table. Guevara ended up refusing that. Guevara ended up telling MJF where he can stick that check before promising that he is going to win the AEW World Championship this Sunday. So pretty much that was basically what Sammy Guevara had to say. Guevara ended up also saying, that check is a lot of money. So pretty much that was basically that. And then we had the open house match. So it was the House of Black defending the World Trios Championship against Metalik, AR Fox, and Blake Christian. And this was an okay match here. Didn't love it, in my opinion. But the match started off with Blake Christian and Buddy Matthews. So, on commentary, knowing that the dealer's choice stipulation, that tags are not necessary as long as one man is in and one man is out for each team. So Blake Christian was taken out of the ring. Metalik ended up coming in to clear Buddy Matthews from the ring. So Brody King ended up catching Blake Christian, ended up playing him down on the mat. Malachi Black then tagged in, and he booted Blake Christian in the face. He followed up with a sharp knee. He ended up getting out and tagged in Metalik, but Metalik ended up springboarding into a knee strike by Malachi Black. So we had Buddy Matthews end up tagging in, and Malachi Black and Buddy Matthews end up sending Metalik to the ropes. And then Blake Christian and Metalik end up diving to the outside, taking out both Buddy Matthews and Malachi Black. So AR Fox and Brody King were in the ring at this moment. So then we had all 6 men end up on the outside of the ring. AR Fox leapt off the ropes. He had pinned a reverse senton onto everyone outside on the floor, which was great. So AR Fox and Buddy Matthews end up back in the ring. Buddy Matthews end up focusing on a submission hold on AR Fox. AR Fox end up fighting to the ropes. And of course, there were no rope breaks here. No rope breaks were part of the match. So Malachi ended up trapping Metalik with a knee bar. Brody King ended up trapping Blake Christian with a sleeper on the apron. And then Metalik ended up tapping out. So there you go. The House of Black ended up winning the match, retaining the World Trios Championship. Overall, just an okay match it was. Not great. Didn't love it. But it was okay. And you had Julia Hart out there. Of course. And then we saw the Blackpool Combat Club backstage. They ended up addressing their objectives. Their first objective is to win the Ring of Honor World Tag Team Championship from the Lucha Brothers. And then to end the Elite this Sunday at Double or Nothing. Jon Moxley ended up saying that he promises a storm of violence in which the Blackpool Combat Club will stand calm. He ended up saying that the world will see the difference between professionals and amateurs. Like what Brian says, they're amateurs. So pretty much that was basically what the Blackpool Combat Club had to say. But should be a good match this Sunday at Double or Nothing. With the Blackpool Combat Club versus the Elite, Anarchy in the arena. So very much looking forward to it. Hopefully it's bloody. And if Moxley bleeds, I give it 5 minutes until Moxley starts bleeding in that match on Sunday at Anarchy in the arena. And then we saw the AEW World Champion, MJF. MJF made his way out as Dynamite came back from the commercial. He ended up walking over to the commentary table, and he ended up confronting Tony Schiavone. MJF then picked up a cup, and he threw what was in the cup at Tony Schiavone. He ended up throwing what was in the cup right in Tony Schiavone's face. And then MJF ended up heading to the ring. MJF had a mic in hand. He ended up trashing Vegas. And he ended up addressing the 4 pillars of AEW. So he ended up saying that he is aware of how important this match is this Sunday. He ended up saying people like to throw around the word homegrown, and it doesn't get more homegrown than them. He ended up saying, and unlike some of people's faves, they need to be on national TV first. So MJF ended up saying they have been the best, given the best matches, and the best moments in the history of AEW. And MJF ended up saying, oh, these guys, they're not just part of AEW. They are AEW. And MJF ended up saying that he doesn't want to be anymore. He doesn't want to be here. And he's bored and sick of this place. He ended up saying that he's sick of the lack of competition and the fans who don't show him the respect he deserves. Yeah, everybody should respect MJF at what he does. So whether, you like him or not, majority of the fans boo the hell out of him. So MJF ended up saying that Tony Khan knows that. And he knows that his contract is coming up. So MJF still throwing out, his contract is coming up next year. He's still teasing on possibly him going to WWE. Well, if he does that, which I know he will probably re-sign with AEW, but if he did that, he would be under the control of Vince McMahon if he signs with WWE. And he will be watered down. He won't be the guy that we're seeing on AEW television. He'll be watered down. MJF would be watered down if he comes to WWE. And he just says all that because he knows Tony Khan gets pissed when he mentions that about his contract. So MJF ended up pointing out and saying it isn't a coincidence that he's fighting 3 other men where he doesn't even have to be pinned. MJF then ended up claiming that he might take his ball and go home because this is his ball that he earned. He ended up saying this Sunday people will find out his opponents are talented, but like the rest of the roster, none of them are on the level of the Devil. So then Darby Allin ended up coming out. Darby Allin, made his way out, and he headed to the ring, had a mic in hand. MJF then demanded Darby's music to be cut. MJF ended up saying that he wants to know if Darby has something to say to his face. Darby ended up saying that he's lost a lot, but he never lost his mind. Darby ended up saying that he was told by everyone growing up to play it safe, and that it got him nowhere, but cleaning toilets at a 99-cent store. Darby ended up saying that he ended up moving to Atlanta and living in his car, talking to himself until he got signed to AEW, and that saved his sanity. So Darby Allin then gave AEW credit for the opportunities that he's been given. He ended up saying he is not a moldable puppet. He ended up saying that he ends by promising to take the World Championship from MJF, and he might even do it with a headlock takeover. And Darby also said that no other company lets him skateboard with Tony Hawk. And he ended up saying next year he is climbing Mount Everest. So then MJF then responded to Darby. He ended up low blowing Darby, and MJF was aiming to use the diamond ring on Darby. Sammy Guevara ended up coming out, and Sammy Guevara ended up chasing MJF away. So then Jungle Boy ended up coming out. Jungle Boy came out, and he ended up diving an attack by MJF with the World Championship. He ended up taking MJF down with a clothesline. Jungle Boy then grabbed the World Championship. He stood tall with the title, and pretty much that was basically that. But this Four Pillars match is going to be awesome. Looking forward to it. I mean, we got MJF, we got Sammy Guevara, Darby Allin, Jungle Boy for the AEW World Championship. It's going to be awesome. But obviously, we all know that MJF is going to retain the title. MJF is going to hold the World Championship a whole lot longer. And that's the right move. Give a long reign for MJF as the World Champion. But very much looking forward to the match. That's going to be awesome. And then we saw Wardlow and Arn Anderson. And Wardlow was talking about, what's going to happen to Christian Cage at Double or Nothing in the ladder match, and how Wardlow is going to retain his TNT Championship. And pretty much that was basically that. But it should be a good match between Wardlow and Christian Cage ladder match. But I don't care very much what's going on with the TNT Championship. It's just a hot potato title. And then we had Taya Valkyrie versus Lady Frost. This was just a very meh match here. So both women ended up blocking up. Taya ended up taking Frost down. And Frost ended up kicking out because Taya ended up going for the cover. Frost ended up getting a flurry of offense in on Taya. Taya ended up striking back, and she ended up sending Frost to the corner. Taya ended up laying in a kick to Frost and then a stat mare. Valkyrie ended up delivering a sliding lariat to Frost, and she ended up going for the cover, to which Frost ended up kicking out. So Taya then brought Frost back to her feet. Frost was then back in the corner. Taya ended up hitting an overhead chop, which sent Frost back to the corner. Frost ended up evading a shoulder tackle by Taya. She was hitting some strikes on Taya, and then Taya delivered a spear to Frost, to which Taya ended up going for the cover, and Frost ended up kicking out. So then Jade Cargill, Layla Gray, and Mark Sterling ended up coming out on the stage. And they were watching Taya, and then Dynamite went to commercial. Then as Dynamite came back from the commercial, Lady Frost had control of the match, and she ended up taking Taya down the corner. Lady Frost ended up delivering a rolling senton, and then she ended up hitting a corkscrew crossbody off the top rope. Taya was able to counter an attack with a spear, so both Frost and Taya were down. So both women ended up making it back to their feet quickly. They were trading blows. Taya ended up dropping Frost down to the canvas. She ended up going for the cover, to which Frost ended up kicking out. Taya followed up with a curb stomp as Jay continued to watch the match. So we had Taya end up hitting a backbreaker to Frost, and then a road to Valhalla to Frost, and then Taya ended up going for the cover, and there you go. Taya Valkyrie ended up winning the match. Overall, very meh match this was. But Taya is going to be taking on Jade Cargill this Sunday at Double Nothing. TBS Championship on the line. But Jade Cargill, we all know she's going to retain the title. And then we had Tony Khan. Tony Khan ended up making the announcement about AEW Collision and where the location will be on June 17th. So last week, Tony Khan ended up announcing the tour for Collision. And Tony Khan ended up announcing that the first location for AEW Collision on Saturday, June 17th, which is going to be on TNT, is going to be from the United Center in Chicago. So pretty much that confirms CM Punk returning. So when I was like, oh, when they announced Chicago, you already could tell that CM Punk is going to be returning. You know, because it's in Punk's hometown. So obviously predictable. We all knew that it was going to be Chicago. But that's the announcement. June 17th, first AEW Collision on TNT is going to be from the United Center in Chicago, live. And as Dynamite came back from the commercial, we had Alex Marvez. Alex Marvez was talking to Hangman Page, who returned last week, and he's wearing an eye patch because of the screwdriver attack from the Blackpool Combat Club. So Hangman Page ended up talking to Marvez about his status of the friendship between him and the Elite. Page ended up saying that the price that the Blackpool Combat Club have rung up with the Elite is too high. And at Double Nothing, they will pay it in blood. So that was what Hangman Page, ended up saying. He ended up saying also that he doesn't know if him and Kenny Omega were ever really friends, and that they were something more important, family. So pretty much that was that. But, pretty good promo from Hangman and Page. And then we had the contract signing between Chris Jericho and Adam Cole for their unsanctioned match at Double or Nothing. So Tony Schiavone was in the ring, and he welcomed Adam Cole down to the ring. Adam Cole came out. He was accompanied by Roderick Strong. Of course, Adam Cole did his, boom, and then Adam Cole, baby! And then he ended up taking a seat. Tony Schiavone then introduced Chris Jericho. Chris Jericho arrived, out there along with the Jericho Appreciation Society, Matt Menard, Angelo Parker, Daniel Garcia, and Jake Hager. So they accompanied Jericho down to the ring. Everybody was singing, of course, Judas. So Tony Schiavone ended up saying that there was an agreement that no physicality would occur during this contract signing. So he ended up explaining that the contract being signed waives AEW of liability and sanctions to do with the match. Adam Cole quickly signed the contract, and then he tossed the contract to Jericho, and Adam Cole ended up addressing what Jericho did to him a few weeks ago, where they ended up handcuffing Adam Cole to the rope, and they started being down on Adam Cole's girlfriend, Britt Baker. Dr. Britt Baker, DMD. So Adam Cole ended up saying, oh, it's because maybe Jericho is a scumbag. Maybe it's because that Jericho is a disgusted human being because they were beating, Britt Baker with a kendo stick, and Jericho directed the traffic. So Adam Cole was like, no, Jericho did it because he believes he is invincible, because he is Chris Jericho, and that AEW should be thankful to have him. So Adam Cole ended up saying this Sunday he will beat the living hell out of Jericho. And AEW can be thankful it is unsanctioned, as the blood will be on his hands. And that's how he likes it. Adam Cole ended up saying that he hopes Jericho knows it has taken all the power inside him to not beat him within an inch of his life right now. Cole ended up saying that he can't do that. So he ended up saying that he will explain what will happen on Sunday. Adam Cole ended up saying that he's going to break Jericho's legs, and that he will shatter his jaw, and that he will break Jericho's hands. So he should hurry up and sign the paper, sign the contract. So Jericho then got on the mic. He ended up saying before he signs, perhaps Adam Cole's head injury has impacted him. Jericho ended up deciding to remind Adam Cole of what happened. So he ended up showing the attack on Britt Baker. So Jericho was like, what kind of a man Adam Cole is? He was like, what kind of guy ends up letting his girlfriend be attacked? So Jericho was goading Adam Cole to touch him, but of course, no physicality would occur in the contract signing here, as was mentioned by Tony Schiavone earlier. So Jericho ended up calling Adam Cole a coward. He ended up saying to Adam Cole on Sunday he's going to knock his teeth down his throat. So Jericho then signed the contract. He ended up saying there are no rules, and that there's 5 of us and only 2 of you. To which Adam Cole ended up agreeing. Adam Cole ended up saying that he made a phone call to someone that he knows from Vegas. Someone who is homicidal, suicidal, genocidal. And I'm like, okay, it's Sabu. So Sabu ended up making his way out, the former ECW alumni. He made his way down to the ring, and Jericho was shocked. Sabu then entered the ring, got a big pop from the crowd. Matt Menard tried to rush at Sabu, but Adam Cole then threw a chair to Sabu. Sabu ended up throwing the chair right into Matt Menard's face. The Jericho Priest Society quickly escaped the ring, and pretty much that was basically that. But I'm like, how random for Sabu to be in Adam Cole's corner there, along with Roderick Strong. How very random. I mean, do you all like that Sabu is, with Adam Cole, and Roderick Strong Sunday for Double or Nothing? Hopefully, this is just a one-off, for Sabu. But overall, it was a pretty good contract signing between Adam Cole and Jericho here. But, like I said, very random for Sabu to be there. And then we have Roderick Strong versus Danny Garcia. This was a good match here. The Jericho Priest Society was banned from ringside for the match. So the match started with both guys end up locking up. Roderick Strong ended up taking Danny Garcia down. We had Strong and Danny Garcia. They were exchanging chops and forearm strikes. You had, with the chops, Roderick Strong's chest was beat red from the chops by Danny Garcia. So Roderick Strong gained full control of the match. He delivered a backbreaker to Danny Garcia. So we had Roderick Strong end up following up with some chops around the ring. Danny Garcia ended up scrambling to the outside. Strong ended up diving out, out of the ring, and Danny Garcia ended up sidestepping Roderick Strong. So Danny Garcia ended up launching Strong face first into the ring steps. So Danny Garcia started dancing on the ropes, and that allowed Roderick Strong to dump Danny Garcia back to the ring. So Danny Garcia then ended up pulling Roderick Strong back, started stomping on him face first onto the mat. So we had Danny Garcia end up stomping away on Roderick Strong, and Roderick Strong ended up throwing Danny Garcia across the ring, and then he ended up delivering a drop kick and a running knee strike to Danny Garcia. Roderick Strong aimed for a knee strike in the corner. He ended up missing, and he ended up bouncing back Danny Garcia for a roll-up, and Danny Garcia ended up kicking out. So we had Roderick Strong at the end of the match. He ended up hitting a gutbuster and the end of Heartache to Danny Garcia. He ended up going for the cover, and there you go. Roderick Strong ended up winning the match. Overall, pretty good match between Roderick Strong and Danny Garcia here. Main event. The Ring of Honor World Tag Team Championship on the line. The Lucha Brothers defending the titles against the Blackpool Combat Club, Claudio Castagnoli, and Wheeler Yuta. This was a pretty fun match here. Match started off with all four men brawling in the ring. The Lucha Brothers ended up sending Yuta and Castagnoli to the outside, and both Penta and Phoenix followed up by diving to the outside, taking down Claudio and Yuta. So we had Claudio end up regaining control of the match. He ended up being hit with a sling blade by Penta. Phoenix ended up running to the top rope, ended up kicking Claudio in the face. Phoenix then tried to springboard back to Claudio, but he ended up in an uppercut in midair from Claudio. Claudio then launched Phoenix into his corner. Yuta then tagged in, and he continued the attack on Phoenix. Claudio then came back in, ended up hitting the tilt-a-whirl backbreaker to Phoenix. So Claudio ended up going for the cover. Phoenix kicked out. Yuta ended up taking back in. He started to work on Phoenix's legs. So Phoenix ended up firing back with some chops, but Yuta ended up remaining in control of the match. So we had Yuta end up booting Penta off the apron. Phoenix came back and delivered a backdrop to Yuta. Yuta then made the tag, and Claudio ended up stopping Phoenix from making the tag to Penta. So Claudio ended up hitting the giant swing on Phoenix. So Penta ended up managed to make the tag. He ended up starting to light up Claudio and Yuta. He ended up sending Claudio out. He ended up dropping Yuta onto his knees. Penta then ended up running over Phoenix to hit a Canadian Destroyer to Castagnoli on the other side, which was great. Phoenix ended up driving Yuta down to the mat, and Phoenix ended up going for the cover, to which Yuta ended up kicking out. So Castagnoli ended up taking a cheap shot to Phoenix. Alex Abrahantes distracted the ref as the Lucha Brothers ended up hitting the Fear Factor to Yuta. So Claudio was trying to break up the pin, and then we saw the Young Bucks, Matt and Nick. They showed up from under the ring. They were keeping Claudio away. Phoenix ended up going for the cover on Yuta. So there you go. The Lucha Brothers end up winning the match, retaining the Ring of Honor World Tag Team Championship. Post-match, the Young Bucks escaped through the crowd. Moxley and Bryan Danielson rushed to the ring, which I forgot to mention. Bryan did commentary during the match, which was good commentary from Bryan. So Moxley got on the mic. He started running the Elite down, saying that Double or Nothing, the Elite are going to get plastered on the pavement of Las Vegas Boulevard. Moxley ended up saying that he promises violence this Sunday. because the Blackpool Combat Club will not accept anything less. He kept saying that if you're offended by the sight of blood, you haven't seen anything yet. So pretty much this was basically how Dynamite went off the air. Overall, very fun match with the Lucha Brothers and the Blackpool Combat Club. But overall, this was a very lackluster Dynamite go-home show for Double or Nothing. Just the first hour, aside from the first match, Orange Cassidy and Kyle Fletcher, it was just very meh. But very lackluster show this was. But anyways, that's it for the Dynamite review. Thank you all for watching. Hope you all enjoyed this review. Definitely give the video a thumbs up, comment, subscribe, and I will see you guys back here on Friday for SmackDown, which is going to be SmackDown's go-home show for Night of Champions. There will be no Rampage review on Friday because Rampage will be on Saturday. But anyways, see you all Friday for SmackDown.